Hello and welcome to another episode of TEVAdrive. This time around we're driving this gorgeous Volvo Cars of Canada V60 T8 Polestar engineered plug-in hybrid wagon. So not only it is a high performance wagon, it's also North America's only plug-in hybrid wagon at this stage, because neither Mercedes nor BMW are bringing their plug-in hybrid wagons. And this happens to be the Polestar engineered model, which happens to be the highest performing Volvo wagon, the highest performing 60 line car. It's also available in a sedan, which we'll get to drive hopefully later this year as well. But we're glad because this is an interesting vehicle, because it's the only one of its kind in North America, the V60 wagon plug-in hybrid Polestar engineered. So as you can see in the front, if you've been watching our pictures that we took with this car side by side with the regular V60 inscription or the previous generation V60, the Polestar engineered car has a few visual differences. So in the front it has specific fascia. As soon as you go on the side, very noticeable are they call them the bronze calipers with the Brembo brakes. Specific wheels, these are 19s, but you can get up to 20-inch on this car. Of course, the main differentiation from a regular V60 is this charge port, which is you have here, so it's basically level 1 or level 2. The car comes with AeroVironment turbo cord, which is both level 1 and level 2. So level 2, it can charge up to 15 amps. It comes with a NEMA 1430 plug. An adapter, if you remove it, it's just a regular 120. So this is your charging port. So this is osmium gray. It's a beautiful, gorgeous color. The trim is all black on the Polestar engineered, giving it kind of more sporty look. If you will compare it to an inscription version of this car, which also comes in a plug-in hybrid, it's going to have a lot more chrome all around. So when we're talking about this car, we have to mention the approximate prices in Canada right now. So the base inscription V60 T8 plug-in hybrid starts at $69,000. This particular Polestar engineered car is actually $82,000. So a lot of you will say right away, well, that's more than Tesla Model 3 performance. Yes, it is. This is a high performance car. It's not as fast as the Tesla Model 3 performance, but it matches pretty closely the performance of a Model 3 long range all-wheel drive, which, as you know, we used to have. We drove one for 10 months. And we have to say that this car, performance-wise, is quite impressive. Just the other day, we had one of our members who races minis, not for a living, but as a hobby. He was impressed with this car as well, and he also likes Volvos. Anyway, so inside this car, you will see specific Polestar interior with sports seats, and you will see this very unique yellow seat belts, both front and back. So these are like 10-way adjustable seats, heated and cooled, and the dash, it's all leather all around. Bowers Wilkins stereo system, head-up display. The car also comes with pilot assist, which we use today on the 401. It doesn't work so well on side roads, but on the 401, on the 400 series highways, works very well. And it's basically auto steers for you with adjustable adaptive cruise that you can use as well. The stick shift, which perhaps you will see later when we start shooting inside while we're driving, is specific for plug-in hybrids. The regular 60s, V60s and S60s have a huge, much taller stick to change the gears. This one here is a very short one. So only the plug-in hybrids get this, as well as the XC40. Okay, so that's the front of it. And we'll show you more of the interior and the features later on. Here in the back is very ample seating. Maybe you can just show the amazing panorama roof, which stretches basically the same level as the back of the back seats. So it's quite a large panorama roof, which opens, and it has a blind that closes. So that's really what I'd like to ideally have in my next electric car. All-wheel drive, nice opening sunroof with a blind that closes based on our experience with the Model 3, where the fixed sunroof was made the interior way too hot. And I-Pace has the same issue, by the way. So the only other plug-in hybrid car that we're thinking and that may have the same feature with an opening panorama sunroof is e-tron, but of course it's even more expensive. So anyways, again, the beautiful wagon design, very sporty with a spoiler in the back. We'll show you the trunk. Now, I don't know if it's gonna work, but we'll try. It has the usual Volvo trick, and other manufacturers have it now as well. So I'm not sure if it's gonna work now. There we go, it worked, second time around. I guess once you figure out where you're supposed to swipe your foot, then you can figure out how to. So the trunk is quite good size. Split seats, 40/60 of course. You have the cover which goes here. So now you can close it like this, and if you open it, you can actually lift it up. Just don't forget to close it back down, because you won't be able to see much when you're driving with this thing up. So there it is, it's covered up, or you can just basically roll it all in. Lots of place for your luggage, for your long trips. Underneath here, we can't show you because we have lots of equipment in the trunk, but underneath here there's a bit of a storage. Not as much as in the regular gas version, because obviously of the battery, which is placed here, but also in the center tunnel as well. So there's just enough space for your charging cable. So again, it comes with a turbo cord, and that's where we put the charging cord right now. So again, to close it, you can use the same trick if it works. There we go. Oh, it stopped. Yeah, don't swipe twice. Okay, we'll do it the manual way. Okay, so we managed to close it just by pressing the button. Obviously, we mentioned we tested the other two plug-in hybrid Volvos, the XC90 plug-in and XC60 plug-in. They all had their specific spots where you had to swipe your foot to open it, so I don't want to try again. In the other ones, it was somewhere in that corner, and then in this car, it seems to be right in the middle of the bumper. So anyways, you can see the specific signage for Polestar. So there's one up front, and there's one in the back. So this is where you would see typically T8 twin engine and either inscription or R Design logo. The Momentum doesn't have any. But you would see that T8 twin engine for all the plug-in hybrids, or let's say T6 or T5 for the other version. So once again, the prices, we mentioned that the base was 69 for the Inscription V6 wagon plug-in hybrid, and then this is a Polestar engineered at 82,000. It's not purely cosmetic. There's many other upgrades, like the suspension. The engine is more powerful. You have 405 horsepower, 0 to 100 kilometers in 4.6 seconds, which is not only 0.1 seconds slower than the sedan version of the same car, but it is a few tenths of a second faster than its regular V60 T8 Inscription counterpart. But it is also $12,000 more. So when you consider that the T6 price versus the T8, the difference is about 15,000. It's hard to justify it with gas savings alone. The car has a range of about 40 kilometers in pure electric mode, after which it goes into a hybrid mode. So if you have access to a plug at home and of course at work, and you have short commute times, you may not use gas for a few months and a few thousand kilometers. If your commute is longer, obviously you might be using gas more. So it would take a few years for you to justify the price difference, the $15,000 price difference from the T6, which is basically the same engine without the electric motor, and a T8, which is an extra 100 horsepower from the electric motor. So in this car, as in the other plug-in hybrid Volvos, except the XC40, the electric motor drives the rear wheels. The engine drives the front wheels. So you have the 300 roughly horsepower engine, turbocharged and supercharged 2-liter 4-cylinder, giving you around 300 horsepower, and then a 100 horsepower motor in the back driving the back wheels. So together they give you all-wheel drive. So that's it. Let's jump in and start driving, and we'll give you more impressions and show you some of the features inside the car, including the dashboard and the various functions. Let's jump in. Okay, so now we're sitting inside this beautiful Volvo V60 Polestar engineered T8 plug-in hybrid. The interface, as you can see here, the dashboards are almost identical to the XC60 and XC90 that we drove before. There is some things that are specific to plug-in hybrids only. This dashboard is adjustable. When going through the menus, you can adjust. This is the minimalist view, then there is a glass view, and then there is a chrome view, and there's a performance view where the screen turns red and the dials turn red, so it's kind of more sporty, aggressive, because this is, after all, a Polestar engineered sports version of this Volvo wagon. And it's we can safely say the fastest Volvo wagon ever made. The flagship V90 is also available as a plug-in hybrid in Europe, but not yet in Canada. So right now this is the flagship plug-in hybrid wagon for Volvo in Canada, and we're probably one of the first people to drive it here. So this is a typical Volvo display. The center can either show navigation or your entertainment. At the bottom right now you can see both the battery mileage left. It's what we call GOM or gasometer. It's showing 25. We're just over half. We've driven about, I'd say, according to the trip meter, about 15 kilometers. We have 25 left. We're trying to see if we can drive it for more than 40 kilometers, kind of in hypermiling mode, meaning no climate, and driving on side highways not more than 80 kilometers per hour. So this car has an 11.2 kilowatt hour battery. This is a 2020 model. All the previous plug-in hybrid models at Volvo had a smaller 10 kilowatt hour battery, and of course back in 2016 they started with a 9 kilowatt hour battery. So they are slowly increasing the size. How does it compare to some of the other plug-in hybrids? The BMW for 2020 530e sedan plug-in hybrid all-wheel drive as well, the xDrive, has gone with 12 kilowatt hour battery, and so is the 330e, which hasn't officially come out yet. Price-wise, this Volvo, this is the Polestar engineered, as we mentioned, this is 82. You can get a base inscription version of this for 69, which is pretty much exactly in line with the BMW 530e xDrive plug-in hybrid sedan from BMW. But keep in mind, this car is much more powerful. Even an inscription version, it's roughly around 380 horsepower. This is 415 horsepower. Okay, so it's going to be much more, faster and higher performing than the BMW. Okay, so let's turn it on and see. So all the other menus, I think if you've watched our other videos, if you did not, we invite you to watch the XC60 and XC90 videos, because I don't want to repeat ourselves, going through the menus, but it's all here. It's touchscreen, obviously. So you have this is to return to main menu. So here's your navigation screen. Here's your entertainment. So satellite radio, normal radio, Bluetooth, and of course you can play music via, by the way, the car is compatible with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. We've tested both. You need to be connected through USB cable in order for those functions to work. What happens then, even if you're trying, for example, to use Waze from your phone, the Waze, the Android Auto only displays the bottom half of this middle screen. It will not display information in the middle. That's reserved for Volvo navigation and Volvo entertainment display, okay? So here again, this is for your phone functions. The bottom changes. So right now we have it on car performance, which gives you your statistics, liters per 100 kilometers, as well as your kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers performance, or so distance and the usage here, watt hours per kilometer rather. So if you swipe right, you can change what that bottom shows. So sound experience, there you go. Now you have the studio, individual stage and concert hall. This comes with Bowers Wilkins upgraded stereo, of course, as a flagship wagon should. So we won't demonstrate it, but it's an amazing sound. It's really, really good. So now you can see that when we went back to the main menu, now it shows the sound options at the bottom. Okay, so in order to get back to the driver performance, you click here. Now we're going to have the car performance, the statistics of our trip right here on the center screen. Okay, so we'll keep it there. we'll keep the screen open so we can watch our performance. We're trying to reach 40 kilometers or more in pure EV mode, at which point we'll switch the car. So your drive modes are a little different than the other plug-in hybrids because we're driving a Polestar engineered car, which is cool, you know, kind of equivalent of the BMW M division or the Mercedes AMG division. That's how good it is. It's really high performance Volvo and the highest performing Volvo. So it's the same button here. It's a little rolling button here in the middle. When you press it, you can either go constant all-wheel drive, pure, hybrid, or Polestar engineered. So pure, obviously it's all electric, which will provide you 40 kilometers or more in ideal conditions of pure electric driving, which is then rear-wheel drive, because again, the electric motor drives only the rear wheels. And then if you go, hybrid uses obviously both. It will automatically switch between different modes. Polestar engineered will also use always both, the rear electric and the front engine. And constant all-wheel drive is obviously the same. It uses both at the same time. So once we deplete the battery, we're hoping around 40 kilometers or more, we'll demonstrate the Polestar engineered mode, which gives you the famous acceleration of 4.6 seconds to 100, which is really basically, actually it's better than the Tesla Model 3 long range all-wheel drive, but of course not as fast as the similarly priced Model 3 performance. Okay, so let's take it for a spin. The engine is on, obviously, because it's all electric. You won't hear it. So we'll close the... Now, again, when it comes to the modes, we wanted to remind you that you have the D, which is drive, and then you have the B for braking. If you want to have more stronger region braking. It does a little bit of region braking when you let off the accelerator pedal, but if you put in B mode, it decelerates even stronger. It's nowhere near as strong as Tesla or BMW i3, but still it does regenerate quite a bit. And the other thing to show you is, as with the other plug-in hybrid Volvos, you can also, when you go to settings, actually here, let's go back to the main screen. There you go. So you can basically either hold the charge, which is this button here on the left, or you can actually charge it. So let's say you're in the city, you've depleted the battery, you've done your 40 plus kilometers, and now you're in hybrid mode, but you're going on a highway now. So you can press the charge button and the engine will recharge the battery to full. How long does it take to recharge from empty to full? Well, we've done we depleted the battery basically around the same time as we entered the highway. We've done about 100 kilometers on the highway. The battery was recharged to around 25, 28 kilometers, which is about 3/4 of the battery. So we're guesstimating that in order to recharge the battery fully on using the highway speeds of, let's say, whatever, between 100, 110, you would need between 150 and 200 kilometers at that speed to fully recharge battery from empty to full. We like the fact that it recharges the battery to full, because our X5 plug-in hybrid, for example, only recharges to 50% or 55% of the battery. The newer plug-in hybrids from BMW, like the new 5 Series or the new 7 Series and the new 3 Series now, they will all be capable of recharging to full. You can actually set how high you want the engine to recharge the battery in the BMW, okay? So that's basically it, that's what we wanted to show you. Of course, the car is equipped with all kinds of safety equipment. It does come with adaptive cruise. It does come with pilot assist, which does a wonderful job auto steering the car on the 400 series highways, not so much on side roads. We tried it on side roads and it misbehaved a few times. So I think it's really designed for the 400 series highways, and then it does very well. You can adjust the distance from the car in front of you by this button. You activate the pilot assist with this button to the right. To cancel, you press on the left, and these are the other cruise control buttons right here. So it's all basically in this stack. The shift paddles you see here, and which also exist here, as soon as you touch them, the car understands you want to shift gears, so it switches into hybrid mode or performance mode. So this is strictly for shifting gears, so it has nothing to do with regen. Even though at the B on the dial you see the plus and minus, as soon as you touch it left or right, because you can, instead of using these shift paddles, you can shift left or right here using the main gear shifter here. But then again, right away the engine comes on, and it basically only serves for changing gears, okay? Let's hit the road and then see how it behaves. We're gonna close the windows because it's kind of gonna be pretty noisy otherwise, and perhaps close the window. There we go. By the way, we mentioned the beautiful, huge panorama sunroof, which and a huge chunk of it opens, and it has a blind, which we want in our next electric car. So let's switch back to our statistics screen. So we're going on a fairly rough side road just outside of Toronto on a beautiful fall day. It's currently 18 degrees and it's going to be going downhill from here. So we thought it would be a perfect day to hypermile on little side roads in the area. So we'd love to hear from you in terms of what you think about the pricing in Canada for our market. Of course, because of the high price point, the car does not qualify for the federal rebate, which is limited to $55,000. The cars have to start at 40, not more than 45, and the top version not more than 55. So even with the recent price increase of the short range plus Tesla Model 3, which is now almost 56, we're not sure if that's going to qualify after they recently increased the range and the price on it. So anyways, this car, you will not get the rebate, but then people spending, you know, 60, 70, 80,000 usually don't really care about the $5,000 rebate from the government. So the people looking for a high performance wagon should seriously consider this car. It's very unique, and again, as I said, it's the only one of its kind. It's a true high performance wagon with green credentials, with decent electric range, which will allow people with short commutes in the cities, like we are the perfect example, and a few of our previous plug-in hybrids were able to drive with much smaller batteries than this. We're able to drive 4 months and 6,000 kilometers on a single tank of gas. So again, the battery size is still fairly small at 11.2 kilowatt hours, 40 kilometer range, but for people living in the cities with plugs at both ends, at work and at home, you should be able to drive without using gas for many thousands of kilometers and many months. Okay, so in that, whoops, sorry about that. I touched the radio button by mistake, just by touching this. This is your entertainment stack. So volume is left and right. Sorry, left and right is your station up and down, or your songs advancing to the next song. The volume button is up and down. So we'll try and demonstrate, because this highway has good markings. We'll set the navigation, and the pilot assist is on. And the speed limit here, you can see that because it's displayed on the center screen, it's 80. So let's put it at 80. The green steering wheel applies, just like Tesla, it prompts you to apply pressure to the steering wheel, but the green wheel is on. We're on pilot assist. So this highway is a 4-lane highway, non-divided highway with an 80s. Again, it prompts me. So almost as frequently as a Tesla. Apparently with the version 10, Tesla has increased their prompts. Used to be, I don't know, 40 seconds, now it's every 15 seconds. So this is kind of similar. It has very frequent prompts for you to touch the wheel. But it does pretty good job on highways with good markings. On the smaller, there you go, I didn't touch the wheel. The first sign is the yellow, the wheel goes yellow. The second stage goes red and starts beeping. So you get these prompts. And you do not get penalized just like you would with Tesla. Again, and we're being prompted. It does not penalize you like Tesla, three times warning and you're out. You cannot turn the pilot back on until you actually stop and restart the car. So no such thing here at the Volvo. Obviously the sensor suite is not as sophisticated as the Tesla, but it does pretty good job. We just came over on the 401 in stop and go traffic. The auto steer and the combination of adaptive cruise did a pretty good job, actually a very good job. Okay, so where I wouldn't use it, there we go. It just, unfortunately, without warning, sometimes it disconnects. Here, it's back on. So what Volvo should do is, if you're not paying attention, you will see that the wheel was off. It was no longer green, but there was no beep to warn us that the auto steer is off. Okay, so anyways, this is perhaps something that Volvo should, reconfigure, or, okay, let's see. And it stops a little closer than what I'm comfortable with. I don't want to get that close to the car in front of me. Anyways, so there you go. That was a demonstration of the adaptive cruise and of the pilot assist, which is, every company has their different names. It's not ProPilot with Nissan, Autopilot with Tesla. This is Pilot Assist, and I think it's a good name because Autopilot, as we all know, it's not. Even with FSD or full self-driving Tesla, it has its limitations. This car will not, by the way, will not change lanes. When you turn on the indicator, you have to do the lane change yourself, at which point, if you cancel the indicator, it will resume its auto steer, right? So that's some of the other features. Of course, there's a lot of safety features like driver alertness warnings, etc., etc. So all that is included with this car, and it's let's see here, at the total we have 18 kilometers left, and we've done 21 kilometers. So we should be able to do 40 no problem. So perhaps we'll resume the conversation at the end of the 40 kilometers to confirm to you that we have been able or not to do the full 40 kilometers. Okay, so we'll check back with you in a few minutes. Okay, guys, so we're at the end of our hypermiling exercise. We did not do the countryside roads. We're doing actually city suburban environment, so a lot of stop and go and traffic lights and such. We're already at 40 kilometers pure electric, and we have about 3 kilometers left. So we're gonna be at a total of 43, 44 in city suburban environment, which is not bad. So on the country road in ideal conditions and a nice warm day like today, we should be able to do even as much as 50. So it's not a huge range, but it's really not bad, and it's a big improvement over the first and second generation batteries. A big step forward as far as the plug-in hybrids go. Of course, the day when we picked up this car, Volvo launched their pure electric XC40, which is very exciting. That one, by the way, is going to be, the price is not known, okay? You can already reserve it in the US, you cannot reserve it in Canada. The price will be announced in Canada in the first quarter of next year, with deliveries in the last quarter of next year. So it's gonna arrive as 2021 model year. We anticipate that, based on the current top version, which is a T5 of the XC40, which is about 55, we're hoping it's not going to be much above 59, so about 5 above the top version currently of the XC40. Also because the Polestar 2, which is the high performance arm of Volvo, it's owned by Geely and Volvo as well. Polestar 2 is priced at 69 for the launch edition. So again, the prices for that car are going to come down after the initial launch edition. So we're hoping not more than 60. So time will tell in first quarter of next year. Already we've heard rumors that in the US it's going to be around 50,000. So 59 in Canada would make sense. If we get lucky and the rebate is still there, if maybe they'll be smart enough to price it at 55, who knows? Maybe they'll even qualify for the rebate. So it remains to be seen. So Polestar 2, as you know, it can only be ordered online.
Turn right.
We have navigation on, steering us towards home. We are 1 kilometer range left, and we are 42.7 kilometers. So we're gonna be just around 43, 44 kilometers. We're gonna head south here, probably by the time we were ready to hit the 401.
Turn right in 200 meters.
So once we deplete the battery, and we'll tell you what the total mileage was, we are going to switch to Polestar mode, which is gonna use both electric and
now turn right.
And the engine, all of the 415 horsepower. Of course, to reach the 415 horsepower, you need to be running your engine at 6,000 RPM and the electric motor at 7,000 RPM. So most likely we won't redline this car, and the red line, well, you see when we switch the mode, it's pretty high, but it's right up there. So let's turn right, and then I think we're going to be going into the hybrid mode pretty soon. We have still 1 kilometer showing at 43.1, and there we go. So basically right now it shows 0 electric car range at 43.1 kilometers. We're still able to do a bit, probably the last kilometer or so. You'll see we're still in pure electric on the diagram. The diagram will show when the engine will kick in. So at that point we're going to show you the mileage here. 43.2, we're at the red light. So most likely by the time we hit the 401, we're going to be back in hybrid mode. Anyway, so to come back to the pricing again, this car being 69, which is the same, the base version of this car, not this particular one is 82, but the base plug-in hybrid V60 inscription is 69, which is the same price as the Polestar 2. As we know, the XC40 electric and Polestar 2 share the same specs, so you can expect 4.7 seconds from the Polestar 2. You're going to be around 5 seconds from the heavier and more bulky and less aerodynamic XC40 electric, and hopefully with a very attractive price. So unfortunately you cannot order it yet. You can order Polestar with $1,500 right now for delivery in July 2020 at $69,000 Canadian, plus other options, whatever you want. Performance package is extra, colors are extra, but you get standard 19-inch wheels. You can also upgrade to 20 for extra cost, and so on and so on. So this base version of this car is exactly the same price currently as the announced price for the Polestar 2. But we're in gas mode. So basically we did 44 kilometers, there you go, in city suburban traffic, which is really not bad. On our old plug-in hybrid Ford Fusion Energy, the battery was much smaller. It was 7.7 and this is 11.2. We're able to do maximum, 30 kilometers in the city. Because of our short commute distances and plugs both at home and at the office, we were at once able to drive 4 months and 6,000 kilometers on a single tank of gas. So that shows you the substantial savings that the plug-in hybrid can have for some people, depending on your driving patterns and how frequently you plug in. The more you plug in, the less you will use the gas.
To keep right.
So you can hear the engine, it's pretty loud because again, we're driving the performance version, Polestar engineered version. And you can see on the diagram that basically right now we're in gas mode, so in front wheel drive pretty much. Let's switch, we're about...
Keep right in 100 meters onto Highway 401 East.
This very computerized voice of the Volvo navigation.
Right.
So we're gonna change it to Polestar engineered. There we go.
Move to the left in 2 kilometers.
Okay, so we'll go back to the main screen. There we go. And it shows you both systems working, both the electric and the gas. So right now it's strictly gas, but as soon as I accelerate, it shows you the battery working as well. So the Polestar engineer mode uses both, as you can see on the diagram. So the traffic today, it's pretty nasty. It's Sunday, but it's
Please keep left in 1 kilometer onto the express lane.
And of course, the Brembo brakes will slow you down quite nicely and effectively. So the acceleration is impressive. We've had, as I mentioned, I think already in our video, we had a race car driver in this car the other day, and he was pretty impressed. So it is definitely a high performance car and a high performance wagon, one of the very few. You can also, of course, go for Mercedes C43 AMG wagon, which is only $60,000, so $10,000 cheaper than the base version of this, or $20,000 less in this particular version. You would be probably a couple of tenths of the second slower to 100, but you would not have the green credentials. It's as you know, the Mercedes AMG uses V6 engines. I don't know why it's beeping the seat belts for the right seat. Maybe the cameraman was touching the seat or something. Anyways, so yes, you could buy a higher performing wagon from Mercedes, but it's strictly a V6 engine. Doesn't have the green credentials of this car. So if you want a high performance wagon, let's try and you can see how quickly it accelerates, at any point in time. Again, we have a seatbelt warning.
Please
for some reason.
Left and follow Highway 401 East.
It must be an error. Something. There's nothing on the seats. I'm not sure where we're getting the seatbelt warnings. Anyway, so if you're looking for a high performance wagon with green credentials, this is really your only choice in North America right now. Okay, Europe has, you know, many other plug-in hybrid wagons, but none of them are as comfortable and as you know, high performing as this particular car. So we highly recommend it. If you'd rather wait for the full electric Polestar 2 or XC40, you're going to have to wait at least another 9 months for the Polestar 2, or a year or more for the XC40 electric. In the meantime, you have pretty much a whole range of...
Please keep left and follow Highway 401 East.
Sorry, the navigation isn't interfering with us, but again, we highly recommend it. We enjoyed our time with this car. We've had it for a week, and we really loved it. So if you have any questions regarding this car, feel free to call us, email us, or comment on our YouTube video, or on our Facebook page, or on our Twitter, and we're always happy to answer your questions. Thanks for watching.